Hi, everyone, and welcome to Breakthrough with Jeff. This is a place where we live life with zero limits. Welcome, everyone. Happy October. It is the first day of October. I hope you had an amazing day, whether it's morning, afternoon, evening. I hope you're having a wonderful time. Jeff, welcome, and I'm glad and excited that we are here once again to kick off October. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Mary. I'm so grateful. New month. It's already Friday.
I know,
October
right?
is running.
I know it's running. And I'm very excited for us. We took a little bit of a break there. The last 2 weeks we were in there, and it's great that now we are back. And when I was thinking about the month of October, for some reason, for me, it connects a lot with love. And I thought, having Jeff here to answer our questions, I think, why don't we touch on love? Many of us yearn love, and when I talk about love here, I'm not necessarily really referencing love relation related to family and friends, and of course that is part of love, that but love in terms of an intimate setting of a relationship. You yearn to have someone love you. You yearn to have someone accept you, and many of us are unable to give love, receive love, accept love, because in some form of way, something along our path made us believe that we are unlovable. And perhaps to kick this off, Jeff, I may put myself on the hot seat. I a couple of years back, I feel like it's about 4 years now. Yeah, 4 years. I went through a really, what I'd call a traumatic relationship, and it's interesting because one, I was there by choice, but two, it doesn't mean that there weren't the ramifications of being in a relationship where you're not happy, you're staying because you just want to be with someone, and you're trying to be yourself but they're not accepting who you are. And it brings up a lot of heart when now you're going in, you're moving away from it and trying to move into something else, because you're constantly wondering, will someone love me as I am? Will someone accept me? And so with that in perspective, I wanted us to touch on the concept of feeling unlovable. And I'm fortunate that right now I am love. I accept myself. It's take it or leave it as I am. But there's so many of us who still struggle with that. And I just wanted us to touch off today's session by talking about love and just reminding us that we can all be able to give love and receive love. So I'm going to just kick it off to you from that introduction. Shoot and I will flow.
Nice, nice, nice. Awesome and brilliant subject here, Mary, because this is the core of being whole and being complete. Reaching to a place where you totally believe that you are actually lovable. And credit goes to our upbringing. We were brought up in a place where we were seeking attention, the love of our parents, people around us to love us. And that's why I hear people moving from one relationship to another, and they are choosing the same man, the same lady, because we were trained, our minds were trained and cultured a certain way to feel that something is missing in us. We are not complete. We are not enough. I am yet to meet anyone that actually feels enough and feels complete and feels lovable, because we feel lovable because we feel we are complete. But then from 4 years of age, this world, what it does is to show us how incomplete we are and how much we need to do to be loved. And so love becomes conditional, and you have to do something for someone to be loved. It begins with parenting, it goes to schooling, it goes to our conditioning. You have to do something to be loved. And you almost get lucky in our generation to find true love, that unconditional love, whereby you're loved for who you are. And what I find, Mary, is that most of us are really truly broken, in that we feel broken. We feel something is missing in me, even when the spouse is there. I know people in marriages that have no capacity to love. and they are really struggling to express love, because you can't give out what you don't have. You can't give out what you are not. And so when I work with my clients, Mary, I sort of lead them deep into their soul, into their heart. Heal that place in you where you feel incomplete. Because until you are complete, you are incapable of loving. And you see, so we try to complete ourselves by meeting that right guy, meeting that, right lady, and wondering why things are not working, why they are cheating on us. The same way it happened in the previous relationship. And so this is really a relevant subject we are talking about. And
So I
I'm
want,
sure many people can relate.
yeah, I want us to take a step back. I think you've given a broad overview of and a better introduction, actually, and really bringing everyone into the conversation. But I want us to take a real step back and let's start with childhood, or what
Yeah.
the world has perceived, because you've talked about it. We have been wired to believe that the only way people will love us is by doing something. And I think the
Yes.
reason I want us to hit on that a little bit harder is because in order for anyone to be able to break down that they're unlovable, then they have to figure out where it starts. And let's talk about people's childhood. Let's start from there. Then as we progress towards, going to school, and then, life and love and all that. But
Yeah.
where do you think the disconnect is? Where do you think children start feeling that they need their parents' attention? Because is it that the parents are not giving kids love, or is it that their parents don't know? Like, where is that disconnect, so that everyone can be able to identify that, and as we move forward, they can be able to plug that hole?
Yeah. Well, that's the reason we have this conversation, Mary, because where we are today, you're talking about a very empty parenting. Empty, I mean, empty of love, where you're just parenting these kids not to empower them and to, have them gain their humanity. You yourself, as a parent, you feel something is missing in you. And so we are brought up by parents who are not ready for parenting. And so when you're not ready for parenting, what do? You do what you know. And so our parents did know better. And that's how we are hurt. And this child comes on the planet whole and, looking for that affirmation, warmth, and all that. And the first thing is being introduced into this world of this is missing, and then you are missing something. You don't qualify to be like this. I love you if you do the assignment. I love you if you be a good boy. Oh, good boy, good girl. Now I love you. You made daddy happy. And kids need to know that no matter what they do and no matter what they will ever decide to be, that they are loved and they are lovable. And that the love is not pegged on what they do. Because tomorrow, then there's something they will not be able to do, and then they will feel, I am not loved. Now, when kids pursue the love of their parents, the brain automatically, and it's not, given, because the parent is not capable of giving the love. The brain makes a decision that you don't no one you don't love me, so no one will ever love me. Because Mary, if your parent doesn't love you, who do you think will love you? The brain just makes that decision. It's just the automatic conscious decision that the brain would make. My parent doesn't love me, no one will ever love me. So now for the rest of your life, the brain positions itself to actually defend that position that you are unlovable, that no one can love you. Many parents, I'm sure they don't know the impact of not loving their kids and not having that warmth and connection. You're impacting generations. And if we can have these conversations and without blaming anyone, because my belief is that if they knew better, then they would be
Good.
better.
Okay.
And every generation is broken in a way. So this generation is broken differently.
Yeah.
Now we are facing it, having these difficult conversations with our kids, but we are having them from a place of anger, sadness, and all that. I was just listening to a story of a young guy. The boy is 5. The mom and the dad, they're having a fight. And the mom is so angry because of what she went through. And she throws a knife that misses the boy's ear by, an inch. And that boy now is 20 years old and he has never forgotten that. Now he has joined violence. He's
Yeah.
dating and beating up the person they're in love with
Yeah.
and doing the same to the mom. And this is all he's learned to
From
be.
that. Mm.
Yeah. So these are things we are learning and really coming to a place of being incapable of giving love because we don't have it.
Okay. So let's take a step and define love. And the reason I want us to define love is because if we can define it, because remember, we are different people define love differently. But if we
That's
can bring
true.
everyone to understand this is
Yeah.
what love is, then they're
Yes.
able to see their disconnect from what love is. And then if they're
Yes.
able to disconnect there from their love is, then they can start pinpointing what are those things that they feel unlovable. What would you say from your perspective? What is love? Like what is love? That's a simple but big question.
It's a simple but very deep question because for me love is everything, is self-acceptance, is
Mhm.
accepting yourself unconditionally for who you are, not for what you do. And it's very easy to know whether you love yourself, and sometimes, most of the time, we want other people to love us, to accept us for who we are. We want the world to accept us for who we are so that we can self-express. But if you've not accepted yourself, the world will only mirror your desperation for love. And research has proven that if you take a baby and never love that baby, the baby will actually lose the humanity, the being human, the humane part of the baby. It's almost like the human part is gone, and that's what we call love, is to be accepted for who you are, not what you do, your qualification, your ideas, or whatever. I love you for who you are. And if you are to get there, in our relationships, and love people for who they are, not what they do, because I see this in relationships where people are loved because of, and people are given these we call them ultimatums. If you do this, I will leave you. That's not the kind of love we're talking about here. We're talking about you're there, and it's fear that makes love conditional. If you do this, I'll leave you. If you do this, and all the time you're at the edge, just hoping that you
Hoping.
don't do something
Yeah.
that makes the other person leave you. Because the thing is, we don't want to be left.
Yeah, that's true. Let's talk
Yeah.
about relationships specifically. Let's talk about with the assumption that someone's in a relationship and they're looking at the relationship, they're in one, but they're feeling
Yeah.
like it's unlovable.
Yeah.
Um, where should they start? Should they start by looking at themselves or looking at the person that they are with? Where is the first point that one should look when they feel that feeling of I am unlovable?
Yeah. Well, the first thing is that self-acceptance, and you're looking at yourself, not the other person. And if the other person is already there, you're already in a relationship, I want you to notice and realize the truth that you attract who you are, and people around you are being pulled to you like a magnet, given what you are within you. And so when you heal and accept yourself for who you are and come from that place of being enough, that's nothing is missing. I know you might have a story that I was rejected by my father, rejected by whoever, rejected by my ex, rejected. Those are stories they are not the truth. The mind has bought into those stories and made it your truth.
Yeah.
You cannot, you don't have to allow it to be your destiny. And so we have that power to make a U-turn, but we can only make a U-turn and face within ourselves. Be honest with ourselves. If something is not working, something is not working within you. And if people don't love you, you don't love yourself. Period. And most of us will not agree with me. Why? Because we build this belief that I am okay, my world is broken. Okay, I am being wronged. I am a victim. Things are happening to me, and I'm here as a victim.
Yeah.
You see, Mary, as before you take that responsibility, healing has not started. But then people say, oh, if I take responsibility, that's a waste of time. Why don't we just go to the relationship? That's fine. We can find out whether we are cut out for this thing.
Yeah.
And that is why we hurt each other, because wounded people will bleed into people that did not cause your pain.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that. Wounded people will bleed into people that never caused their pain. And this is the beauty about relationships, that I look at relationships very differently from many people. This is how I look at dating and love relationship, that we are coming together to heal each other. We're not coming because we are perfect. We are actually coming knowing that none is perfect, no matter how much work you've done on yourself. And I'm here as a partner to hold the space for your healing. Now, if I step into that space, then I'll not be coming so you can meet a need for me. I'm coming to serve you. I'm coming to help you heal. Relationship is a space for us to heal and to give each other that space for healing. But you see, we grew up in a world that looks for Mr., Miss Right. And so we think that the person has to be 100%, like this. And if they are not, because they are coming to complete me. And you see, a complete person, someone that feels enough, is very easy to actually allow someone else, even if they are broken, to heal.
I have
But
a
when we
question
are,
for you right there before you proceed. And sorry to interrupt you there.
it's
How
all
do
right.
you identify someone who's enough, right? Because I think,
Yes.
and I don't know if that deviates us from just that you say that, that someone who's enough is that's what you want. But then how do you identify? Because I feel like if they can identify someone who's enough, it also helps them to look at themselves, look at the person who they are, see the disconnect. But how do you identify that?
So one of the ways is actually you can get the red flags or the green lights from the thought process of the person and their belief system. Okay, so when you stay with someone, you can look at the communication. You can tell this is the way this person is. When we are in love, people know that love can be blind sometimes, we say. And so we ignore some of those red flags. Be very authentically true and work with the information provided by the relationship, because the relationship always gives you information and tell you this person is struggling with this and this and that. Have very clear non-emotive conversations that actually you are aware that the other person is incomplete, they are in a journey. And so you can, to answer your question, you can check their beliefs, you can listen to their stories, what they are saying, what they are holding back to, their behavior. Sometimes people are just holding back stuff, or they're choosing carefully what to share with you. They are not yet there where they feel they are enough, because they think they are not enough. They are not good enough for you. And you see, when someone doesn't feel good enough for you and you love them, let me address that, because someone may feel I'm not good enough for you, but you love them. Then be ready to have a very clear conversation, and just expose it. Go right to it, because relationship, I'm telling you, when you get into marriage, things will be naked. Okay,
Yeah.
literally, things will be
You cannot be taking so long.
yeah. Things will be laid bare and there's no turning back, and you're like, okay, I wish. No. At the place of dating, if you're dating right now, if someone is not ready for hard, clear conversations about their emotions, their behavior, the way they are behaving, they feel it's a personal attack. It's just that they don't feel they are enough. Mary, you know, sometimes you correct me, and I give people permission to correct me, even with the simplest things that I would give an excuse and say, oh, I didn't know, when there's a moment where any correction was a personal attack to me. Any simple, small correction was a personal attack to me. Why? I felt I was not enough. And so people that feel they're not enough, they're always defensive. And they're always fighting for something. They are blocking you from a place in their life where they don't want you to go. But someone that is enough, they are hiding nothing. They are hiding nothing. And so watch for that authenticity, that ability to be open, because love is authentic. Love is open. There's nothing to hide. You can see them through. And so you can see their weaknesses and not run away, but help them to heal. Because again, you cannot heal someone that is not open. You can only heal when someone is open. Yeah.
I think that's a very big thing. I think I want to emphasize that you cannot heal when someone is not open. You
Yes.
can only heal when someone is open. Because I think this is what happens, Jeff. We realize, okay, you know what, this guy is still struggling with feeling like he's enough. And I'm open to us walking through this healing journey and getting to the place where we want to both feel loved and accepted as who I am. But one person is putting in the work and the other is not open. And so perhaps it's for me to realize that, hey, guess what? That other person is not open, and that's a journey that only they can open. And so what happens
Yes.
is now me to decide, do I still want to choose to be here or not? But at the end of the day, you can't force someone to open up, but you have to look out for that.
That's true. And you see, Mary, the challenge there is if the person that is working with, the second person, the one that is working with the person that feels they are not enough, but they are not open. You have, a decision to make right there. You have to make that decision. There are people that just keep quiet and wish one day Jesus will come and save this person. No.
Jeff, that's the thing. And I think I also want us to address this, right? This concept of unlovability. Let's also put a little bit of responsibility on the person who feels that they're unlovable, because I think sometimes people get into it from a victim mentality that I am unlovable, right?
Yes.
And then that's what you sit on, that's what you marinate on, that's what becomes your story. But that they are also not realizing that they are the ones who are taking the responsibility and choosing to be there. And things are not happening just to them. They are allowing things to happen to them. And that part of feeling loved requires decisions, and those decisions must be made by you. And your first step to feeling loved isn't just going to be about someone else. It's about you and looking at yourself and feeling loved. So
That's
you're
true.
passionate there for a second, because that normally gets to me when someone's like, oh, this is not going on. I'm like, make a decision. And they're
Make
like,
a decision.
oh, yeah.
Make a decision. And this is where personal responsibility comes in. Responsibility is made of two words: response and ability. You have the ability to decide what is your response. I know whatever happened, but you always, at any moment for the rest of your life, God will always give you that ability to decide what is your response, but God will never decide for you.
Yeah.
It's you to decide. Do I stay? Do I move on? I know there are people even in a marriage situation who there is nothing. They are dead, spiritually dead. Let me tell you, that thing we say in church, till death do us part.
Yeah.
They're already dead in terms of spiritually, because there's nothing coming out, because this person is so needy. This person had taken all the energy out of them. And for you, you are just there, a shell, waiting for you to be buried. You cannot even be of an impact to your children because there's nothing you can give. Everything has been taken away. Let me tell you, you are responsible for where you are. And until you reach that place and say, I need to take a day, because this life is not so long. This life is too short for you to give away 10 years, 20 years to pain. And some of us, this pain started from 7 years of age, where we were rejected. And now we got someone, the first boyfriend rejected us, and then now we are married to someone that constantly rejects and abuses us. And because we don't believe we have the capacity, the ability to give a different response that takes us to a different destination, we stay there. Let me tell you, if there's no love, there's no life, and there's no reason for you to keep on staying there. Sometimes a small break, a little break, so that people can see themselves for who they are, is necessary. Because when you cover up for someone's shadow, you're not helping them. And true love means, I can let you go so I can love you better. And so you want to know what is time for what. But if there's no love, something needs to happen. If you're not really enjoying, because love is supposed to be, relationships are supposed to be, you are pouring into each other so much, you're moving together, you just feel so supported.
Yes.
There's no experience like that on the planet. It's a gift.
And I think even just the fact that others are experiencing that, why don't you want to experience? Like, why them? Why not you? Like, hey, when you cut the other person who's experiencing, they'll bleed like you. So why not you? Jeff, I want us to wrap this up. 1 minute. I'm going to give you 1 minute, 30 seconds to answer this question. Someone has had what we've said right now. Someone has realized that something was coming from their past, and that where they are, they have been unlovable. Someone has perhaps realized from our conversation that it may have been decisions they're not making. It may have been that they're not, practicing self-acceptance, and maybe that the other person that they are with is the one who's not open. I want you to, in 1 minute, just kind of sort of wrap it up for us and let them know, where do they start with this newfound knowledge, with this newfound awareness? Where do they start to begin that journey of love?
Yeah. So, like we said, you're beginning from within, being actually honest with yourself. Where am I in relationship to the love that I feel I deserve? And to what extent do I feel I deserve love and I deserve to be loved? Maybe you've given up on life even, or maybe you say love is for the birds, which is just another belief, and you've given up totally on love. You can begin right here, right now, by making a decision. Because if you don't make a decision, then you'll be trying one thing after another, and you're wasting your time. Make the decision to heal yourself, but realize you're sick. That's the first thing. If you try to put a mask on the situation, it will not help you. Realize that this is affecting other areas of your life, and it's actually costly for you not to find true love. When people are dying, they never think of how great they were in life. They think of the deepest relationships, and one of the deepest relationships in this life is the intimate relationship. This is where we pour our lives and we just feel, oh my God, I can come again and still be with that person. So if you've come to a place where you feel, okay, it's too far gone, I want you to know that's just a belief. You can begin again. And again, I'm running a program that is actually helping people heal. And I'm committed. This is like a mission for me to help the world heal, the world of relationships. And so I will be leaving a link here for the free session that will be happening in a few days. I want you to join that session. Come and let's walk the journey together. Otherwise, thank you. God bless you. Everything is possible. You deserve love. You are enough. You've always been enough. Let me help you out to access that place where you can enjoy this life. You'll be happy you did. Thank you.
Well said. Thank you for the nuggets of wisdom. As always, I want to summarize that in three key points. One, the first step is realize that you're sick. There is something that needs to change. Two, personal reflection. Where are you? Do you accept yourself? Is the love that you have the kind of love that you want to have? And then three, make those decisions and realize that there is going to be personal responsibility and accountability, and that you need to take those decisions, and really realize that the life that you can live when you think about love is possible. And if you put those three things in practice, your best life is ahead of you and not behind you. Thank you, Jeff, so much. As always, we appreciate you, and I'm happy to connect with you here. Looking forward to other great conversations as we go into this love season in October for me. But thank you very much, and look forward to our next discussion. You enjoy the rest of your day.
Most definitely. God bless.
You too. Bye.